Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Shamin Arif and I am a student of Rehan College as a facilitator.
Hi, what's up?
Hi Maya.
Take care.
Today topic exploring the concept of mindset fix vs growth. So let's start conversation.
I am in. This is such a great place to start. I've always loved how a simple shift in perspective can completely change how you handle a failure. Do you think most people start with a growth mindset naturally?
What is a fixed mindset?
Basically, it's the belief that your qualities are carved in stone. Like the idea that you're just born with a certain amount of intelligence or talent, and that's it. If you fail at something, the fixed mindset tells you, just not good at this. And you stop trying because you think you can't change it.
What is a growth mindset?
I think you mean growth mindset. It's the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your own efforts. Instead of seeing a ceiling, you see a path. When someone with a growth mindset hits a wall, they don't say, I'm not good at this. They say, I'm not good at this yet.
Why is mindset important in personal development?
Because it's the filter for everything you experience. If you believe you can't change, you won't even try the things that actually lead to growth. It's the difference between feeling trapped by your flaws and seeing them as a project. Do
How
you feel like you've ever had a fixed mindset about a specific skill?
how does a fixed mindset affect learning?
Wait, do you mean learning? Since we've been talking about mindset and development, I'm guessing that was a slip. If so, it's basically a trap. You start avoiding challenges because you're afraid that if you struggle, it proves you aren't naturally talented. Turns learning into a performance instead of a process.
How does a growth mindset improve success?
It turns failure into fuel. When you aren't terrified of making mistakes, you're more likely to take risks and put in the work that actually leads to mastery. Success becomes less about being the smartest person in the room and more about who's willing to keep going when things get messy.
Can a person change from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? How?
Absolutely. It's not a permanent state, it's a habit of thought. You start by catching that inner voice that says, I can't do this, and consciously adding the word yet to the end of the sentence. It's also about shifting the focus from the result to the process, celebrating the effort and the strategy rather than just the win.
What are example of fixed mindset thinking in daily life?
Oh, there are so many. Like saying, I'm just not a math person, or I've always been bad with directions. It's anytime you treat a struggle as a personality trait rather than a temporary hurdle. Even something as simple as avoiding a new hobby because you're not naturally good at it is a classic example.
How does mindset affect academy performance?
Um, it basically determines how you handle the hard parts of a subject. Students with a fixed mindset might see a bad grade as a sign that they've hit their limit, while those with a growth mindset see it as a sign they need a new study strategy. It changes whether a student gives up when a concept gets confusing or doubles down on their effort.
How can teachers encourage growth mindset in students?
It starts with how they praise. Instead of telling a student they're smart, which reinforces a fixed mindset, they can praise the process, the effort, the strategy, or the persistence. It's about valuing the hard work over the innate ability. Do you think that that kind of shift in feedback actually makes a difference?
How does failure affect a person with a fixed mindset?
It feels like a verdict. To them, failure isn't just a mistake, it's a definition. It's the moment they stop and think, this is the proof that I'm not good enough, which usually leads to them giving up way faster than they should.
Why do some people fear challenges?
Usually because the stakes feel too high. If you believe your ability is fixed, the challenge isn't an opportunity to grow. It's a test that could expose you as a fraud. The fear isn't really about the task, it's about the risk of failing and having that failure define who you are.
Can mindset influence career success? How?
Huge. It's the difference between staying in a role you've outgrown because it's safe and actually climbing the ladder. People with a growth mindset see new responsibilities as where a fixed mindset might make someone avoid a promotion because they're terrified they won't be naturally capable of the new demands.
Why is effort important in a growth mindset?
Because in a growth mindset, effort is the actual engine of improvement. It's not something you do because you lack talent, it's the thing that creates the talent. It shifts the focus from how smart am I to how much can I learn, which takes the pressure off being perfect and puts the power back in your hands.
How can positive think develop a growth mindset?
I think it comes down to positive reinforcement. When you focus on the wins that came from hard work rather than luck, it builds evidence that you're capable of changing. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge you or reading stories about people who struggled before they succeeded helps normalize the struggle as a necessary part of the process.
What habits help build a growth mindset?
Few simple ones that make a big difference. Then there's the habit of seeking out feedback, even when it's critical, because you see it as a map for improvement. And obviously, staying curious, asking, how does this work? Instead of just accepting that something is too hard. Do you have a routine that helps you keep your head in that growth space?
How do parents affect children mindset development?
Mirror the child sees. If a parent only praises a kid for being smart, they're inadvertently teaching them that their value comes from an innate trait they can't control. But if they praise the effort, like saying, I love how you didn't give up on that puzzle, they're building a foundation where the child feels safe to
How
fail and keep trying.
how
It's a subtle
can
shift, but it totally changes how a kid views their own potential. Since we've covered the basics, do you want to shift gears? Maybe talk about how to apply this to something specific in your life, or just keep exploring the theory?
how can setbacks be turned into learning opportunities?
Back and look at life. Can I change for the next attempt?
Why is lifelong learning connected to growth mindset?
The same philosophy in action. If you believe your brain is a muscle that can keep growing, you never really finish your education. Lifelong learning is just the growth mindset applied to an entire lifetime. The idea that There's always a new skill to master, perspective to shift, regardless of your age or status. Anytime. It was a great conversation. Whenever you're ready to dive into something else, just let me know.